So let us take bean scope. Bean scope. And I'll say singleton. Okay. And eager loading, lazy loading. In eager loading, what will happen is, so singleton means eager loading is what? Bean is created during application context creation. And any number of times you call context dot get bean is called, okay, and any number of times context dot get bean is called, okay, same bean object is written, same object is written. So then what is lazy loading? Bean is created during context dot get bean call, and any number of times context dot get bean is called, same bean is returned. Okay, this is what lazy load. Next is prototype. If bean scope is prototype, eager loading, bean is created during context dot get bean creation. Call, see, even if it is eager loading also, remember, see, even if it is eager loading also, for prototype, always the bean is created during context dot get bean call and not during application context creation. And okay, how many, and bean, so new bean or new bean is created every time when context dot get bean is called. Now the same will be applicable here also. So for bean scope prototype, both eager loading and lazy loading is same. For bean scope prototype, so eager loading and lazy loading are same. So actually, if you see here, for eager loading, what is eager loading? Bean is created during the time of application context only. I mean, initially only. But since the scope is prototype, always the bean is crawled to, so preference is given to prototype, irrespective of whether eager or lazy. So bean is created during context.getBean call and not during application context creation. And new bean is created every time when context.getBean is called. Now, similarly here, lazy loading also same. Bean is created during context.getBean call and not during application context creation. And new bean is created every time when context.getBean is called. So for bean scope prototype, eager loading or lazy loading are same. So, but for bean scope singleton, so bean is created during application context creation, and any number of times context.getBean is called, same object is returned. And lazy loading, bean is created during context.getBean call, and any number of times same bean is returned. So here the bean is created during application context. Here only the difference, but here bean is created during context.getBean call in lazy loading. Just see this once. Okay. Just read once. This is an interview question. Okay. Any doubts here? Clear, everyone? You don't clear? All right. Okay. Now, so in by default, bean scope is singleton and eager loading. By default, bean scope is singleton and eager loading. Suppose we need to change the behavior. How we'll put in the Excel? Put like this. Bean. Okay, we'll give some name Here we'll give scope equal to something. Scope equal to prototype. Something like this. Okay. Similarly, this is for in BXML for bean scope prototype. Now for bean lazy loading, I will say bean ID equal to and then lazy init equal to true. Something like this. I'll give. Okay. So I'll say like this. So bean ID equal to lazy init equal to true. So this is for lazy. Now in annotations, how we do? In annotations, now I'll say for bean scope prototype, I'll say like this, at the rate bean. Okay. Next, at the rate scope, I'll say prototype. And here I'll say public. Whatever that bean I okay, that bean. Next, at the rate lazy. So whatever the public that method. So this is for bean scope prototype and this is for bean lazy load. Now if you want to combine both, then how I'll say at the rate bean. Next I'll say at the rate scope of a prototype. Next I'll say at the rate lazy. And I'll say public like this. Now this bean will be, this will be both prototype. The scope will be prototype and lazy. And the scope will be prototype and loading is lazy. The scope will be prototype and loading is lazy. So we'll see with an example with this, okay? For all this. So in XML, we can define like this. In annotations, we define. Now we'll see an example with all these combinations. So what I'll do is, so what I'll do is, for this, I'll take this example. Annotation, right? Spring demo using annotation. Okay, I'll take one more project, new Maven project. I'll just take Spring Bean, scopes and loading. I'll say like this. What I'll do is I'll add in the pom.xml this dependency. Now what I'll do, I'll write a class here, new class, employee. So private string employee ID, employee name. Okay. Yeah, this is enough. Now I'll just generate setters and getters. Now, fine. I'll take this app config and copy it. Okay, I don't need to. Now, if I don't specify this, now see. What I'll do is I'll put a constructor here. Why I'm putting a constructor, I'll tell you. This is just to print something. I know that we know that you all know that whenever any object of this class is getting created, the default constructor gets called, right? So I should know when this constructor gets called. Okay, I'll just say system dot out dot println in employee constructor. Okay. Right. Now what I'll do in my, I'll just copy this. Okay. I'll just say, just run as Java. Now you see here, what is happening here, the context object is getting created. Right? When the context object is getting created, I got this statement. What is happening? By default, if I specify like this, by default, the bean scope, by default, the bean is eager loading. The bean is eager loading. Right? By default, the bean, that means the bean is created during application context creation. So when the application context is getting created, this is getting printed. When this gets printed, when the constructor will be called, this will be called when the employee object is created, right? When the employee object is getting created, this constructor is called. So, and when this constructor is called, this is getting printed. That is the reason I have put the constructor. See, even if there is no constructor, default constructor it will invoke. But just to track this print statement, when it is getting printed, okay? So when this is getting printed, when the context object is getting created, that means when this is getting created, when the context object is getting created, when this is getting created, right? Your employee object is also created. That means it's called. This is called. This who calls this your application context. So when this is called, the constructor gets called, right? The constructor, an object is getting created. So what is a constructor? This is the constructor. This is the constructor. So when this context object is getting created, so this object is getting created. When this object is getting created, the constructor is getting called. So that is the reason you are seeing this print statement here. So this statement, when you run the program, you'll see this print statement. Because by default, the bean is eagerly loaded. By default, the bean is eager loaded. What is eager? Eager means early, very eager we'll tell, right? We are very eager, very in a hurry. So at the time of application context only, it is getting created, right? Now, by default, the scope is also singleton, right? By default, the scope is also singleton. Right? By default, the scope is also singleton. Now, how many times you call? You'll get the same object. So employee emp is equal to context.getBean. Context.getBean, and in appconfig.java, just to put this bean name. By default, the method name is bean name. If I can override this with this, I can put in double quotes and put emp, right? I can put like this also. Okay. So let me put the bean ID as emp. Context.getBean of emp. Employee.class. Right? So I'll just put system.out.println emp. Now again I'll call the, say, another time emp1. So both emp and emp1 should be same because it is singleton. So run as Java application. Now you got the same object. You got the same object. So this is called only for first time when context is getting created, and every time you call context. So now that is what happening. If the bean scope is singleton, eager loading, this is the default behavior. Then this is happening. See, bean is created during context creation, and any number of times you call, same object is written. Now we'll put bean scope singleton and lazy loading. That means we'll not put anything here, only we'll put this for bean lazy loading. So bean scope is here singleton. Bean scope is singleton. Okay. Only we'll put lazy now. Here I'll put @lazy. So this is the default bean is eager loading and scope is singleton. Now what I'll do is I'll just put one more scenario. Here I'll say, here I'll comment to this. I'll put one more use case. Here I'll say @lazy. Now the bean is lazy loading, and singleton scope is singleton, because if I don't mention any scope, it is considered as default singleton. Now, what I'll do, I'll comment out this part also. I'll just say first object context, application context is created or not. We'll see. Run as Java application. You see, nothing is happening. You see, when context object is getting created, your employee object is not getting created. See, if the employee object is getting created, this constructor will get printed, but nothing is getting printed here. That means what is happening when context object is getting created? Okay, the employee object is not getting created. The bean is not getting created. Okay, because it is lazily loaded. Lazy means lazy loading means the bean is created only during context.getBean. Whenever we need only, it will get, not during the application context creation. Okay, now you see. Now what I'll do now, what is lazy means, I don't want now, I need only when I call context.getBean. I don't want at the time of application context creation. Okay, so now what I'll do now I'll say, now I'll just print here context object get created. Now after this, I'll say context.getBean. Okay, let me run this program. Now you see, first context created. Okay, during the time of context creation, that the employee constructor is not called. After this, I call context.getBean. When I say context.getBean, at the time your employee constructor is called. That means at the time new bean is created. Now, how many times you call? Because it's a singleton, you get the same object. See, same object. See, ID you see, same object you are getting. So that is what here. So bean is created during context.getBean call, not during the application context creation. And any number of times you call, same bean is written. Everyone understood this combination we have seen now, till now in the program? Everyone understood this combination? Any doubts here? Now let us now see this combination. This combination. Now bean scope is prototype. Now I have to change now. Now if I mention explicitly scope prototype, it will be prototype. Let me comment on this. Now here I'll say @bean emp, and I'll say here scope prototype, and here I'll say public scope prototype like this. Now if I don't mention lazy means it is eager by default, so it will consider as eager. Now here bean scope, bean is eager, bean loading is eager, and scope is prototype. Right? Now I'll comment on this part. Now what will happen now if this is the case? For scope prototype and eager loading, bean is created during context.getBean call, not during application context creation. Now I did not call still context.getBean. I'm just creating the application context. We'll see whether bean is created or not. Now you see, you got only context created. Okay, but that constructor is not called, that employee constructor. See, this print statement is not happening. So that means the employee bean is not created. Right? Now I'll say now context.getBean. Now I'll run this program. Now you see, context created. When I say context.getBean, at the time it is calling your employee constructor and the object is getting created. Now, since the scope is prototype, every time you call context.getBean, a new object is getting created. Whenever a new object is getting created, it will call the constructor. So that's why you see, you got this object as one object and this object, see, both two different objects you got. because the scope is prototype. The scope is prototype. So how many times you call if new bean is created every time when context.getBean is called. Right? New bean is created every time when context.getBean is called. See, that is the reason. See, first time you call context.getBean, it is calling the constructor and then creating the object. Again, second time you call context.getBean, again it will call the constructor because every new object creation will call the constructor, right? You know that in core Java, in any new object that you create, it will call the constructor. So that's why you are seeing print statement 2 times, this statement, and you're getting this object. So though it is an eager loading, eager loading means it should create at the time of application context creation. But since the scope is prototype, always the bean is created during the context.getBean. And how many times you call context.getBean, new object will create. Now the same will be applicable for prototype and lazy also. Now what I'll do, I'll say like this. Scope prototype. And here I'll say lazy. And here what I'll do here bean loading is lazy. And scope is prototype. Now this behavior and this behavior both are same. Okay, for scope prototype, it doesn't matter if it is lazy or eager. Scope prototype means always the bean is created during context.getBean, and how many times you call context.getBean, new bean is created or new object is created. Now you run the program now, the same behavior. Same behavior. So during context creation, nothing will happen. After this, you are calling context.getBean. At the time, it is calling the constructor and creating the object. Again, you call context.getBean. It is calling the constructor and you are getting a different object. So this object and this object are different. So this is what this will be. Any doubts till now? Clear? Okay. Now, so we'll see this combination. No difference. That's why if you have prototype means eager loading or lazy loading is same. There is no difference. If you have bean scope prototype means so eager loading and lazy loading is same. There is no difference. I'll share this PPT. Still that Google Classroom link. So I think that zip folder I uploaded, right? I think in that this PPT is there already. You can just see. Now, I have class employee, and now we have auto wire department, right? Remember? Right? Now, this object is dependent on this. So, your employee will be created, department will be created. So, this is your employee. And this will be department. What happens in auto wire? Department object gets injected here, right? That is what auto wire. Now, here we'll see combinations. What happens, say, for example, employees eager and singleton. These are the combinations. See here. Now see. Your employee is singleton and eager. Your employee is singleton and eager. Okay. Suppose you're like this. Class employee. Auto wired department. Okay. Your employee is singleton and eager. Okay, but you have to see the combinations. So your employee is singleton and eager. What happens if department is singleton and eager, department singleton and lazy, department prototype and eager, department prototype and lazy, how the behaves? So this is the behavior. Suppose employee is singleton and eager, your department is also singleton and eager. Now employee and department object are created during application context. Because why we are seeing this behavior means because department object has to be injected in employee, right? So employee should be created, department should be created. What this auto wire does, it injects here. This is your employee object and this is your department object. Now we have to see the combinations now. If this is singleton and eager, and if this is lazy and eager, like that we have to see the combinations. Now singleton and eager, if the employee is singleton and eager, now we'll see these combinations now. Just read these ones. Similarly, if employee is singleton and lazy, now again these combinations. For department, these combinations. Just read this. Okay, any doubts till now? No, I was just giving a time to you to read, that's all. Similarly, I'll open other slide, other content, other combination. See, 16 combinations will be there, permutations. Employ singleton and eager for department, these combinations. Employ singleton and lazy for department, these combinations. Employ prototype and eager for department, these combinations. Employ prototype and lazy for department, these combinations. Just read this. Just read. That's. I'm just giving a time for you to read. So I have gone through this, right? Then we'll see this. No, you have to read now. You have to read now, actually. See, you have to learn in the class only, right? You just read. See, the more you practice in the class, you'll get outside. You just read it. Okay, just read this. Okay. Everyone clear? See, you read, and now you know how this works, right? You just read it. So so these will be in interviews. Actually, they might be asking these type of combinations. All right. See, I request everyone to attend the class. If you miss the class, you will lose that topic. If you are serious in interview preparing, you attend the class. I see today less strength has come. Okay. All right then. So I'll stop the session here. We'll take Monday. We'll continue Monday. See, very simple. You have to follow. Eager means always the object is created during the context creation. Okay, we have seen that example also. Lazy means it will be created during the time of context.getBeen. But for prototype, eager and lazy are same. It will be created only during the time of context.getBeen. Right then. So we'll see on Monday then. See, I request everyone to attend the session. Don't miss my classes. Don't miss my classes. Okay, whatever I'm going to cover, all are very, very important interview questions related. See, here you'll not see these type of combinations if you go for any material, online material, anything. So these are all based on many interviews related I have taken, and I prepared all this actually. So don't miss my class. Don't miss my class, okay? All right, then I'll stop the session. So tell to your friends also, Monday, I want actually full strength.